What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into it. Here to bring you a prediction video on the future of Arizona Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. I believe the superstar wide receiver will be traded after the 2022-2023 NFL season. And let's talk about why. So, DeAndre Hopkins and the Cardinals lose last night to the Patriots. Kyler Murray, as we all know, went down with a non-contact injury. Most likely will be a 20 ACL. It's not confirmed yet, but everybody is saying everyone who knows football as well, probably a torn ACL. That didn't look good. Non-contact injuries are normally that. Um, and so he's gonna be recovering for about on the quick side 6 months, on the long side 9 to 10 months. They'll bring him if you want to be nice with it, be generous. And if he heals early, his body responds to the rehab fast. 6 months, he'll be right in time for training camp, right before training camp. 10 months, he'll be in October, somewhere around that time, maybe pushing November, um, which is good as well. That's most of the season, half the season around trade deadline time, which why I believe this next season will be a dud. If Kyler Murray, even if Kyler Murray was there full season, the season might not be good. Look at this season. You know what I mean? So I don't say, you know, Murray's injury doesn't mean anything, but I think it definitely seals a nail in the coffin for DeAndre Hopkins' future with the team. And if you look back at this past, a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, at the NFL trade deadline, you saw all the reports about a lot of teams were calling Cardinals GM Steve Keim about DeAndre Hopkins. The reports were the Cardinals had AJ Green being available. A lot of teams will call, no, a few teams, not a lot, were calling for Green, like the Packers, a couple other veteran teams, veteran needy teams at wide receiver, but nothing happened. Obviously, he's still with the Cardinals now, but the reports were a lot of teams were ringing the phone, were calling the phone for Steve King to trade away DeAndre Hopkins. Now, the thing is, we don't know why King said no. Is it he wants him to stay there for the future, for help for next year and the rest of the season, or he wasn't met with a good enough offer? We're not sure. Reports don't really clarify that, but I think either way, for whatever reason, I think a team will find a good enough offer this offseason prior to the draft. And also next year should be a dud already with Kyler Murray, most likely with a torn ACL, most likely going to be coming back around October, November. That's halfway through the season. Depends on who they bring in as a backup quarterback, which I don't think would be a good backup quarterback because of a few reasons. Kyler Murray, his personality, and his contract. Kyler Murray's personality. Let's just say they bring in Cooper Rush, who's a free agent. Cooper Rush or a highly valued backup, Mitch Trubisky. That might not be a good example, but a Cooper Rush, Tyler Huntley type of guy, the backup for Lamar Jackson. Let's say they bring him in, pay him good money because they know Kyler going to miss at least the first half of the season around that time. They get about $10 million a year, and let's say for some weird reason, like Cooper Rush had the Cowboys, um, they're undefeated or they lost 1 or 2 games around that time when Kyler Murray does come back. Personality wise, I don't think Kyler Murray would take well to that, deep down. And also, number two, his contract. It's kind of tough. You don't want to have a quarterback situation where the bench guy is playing better than the true starter. And the thing with Dak was, we all know for sure Dak is better than Cooper Rush. They have a good defense. Offense played well. Parsons was going crazy during that stretch. So cool, but Dak was able to sustain that. There was no question. There was a little minor buzz about, is Cooper Rush better than Dak? Should he keep the spot? But there was no real controversy at all. Nothing at all. But could Murray's play, could his personality stand that? I don't know. And are you able to pay a big quarterback, a backup quarterback, big money to come in for a year? We need to bring in other pieces to help the team get better. I don't think so. You know what I mean? So I don't think they can afford a guy like Tyler Huntley, who could be a starter or a spot starter for some teams. It's going to be tough to bring in a guy like Cooper Rush, Mitch Trubisky, Mariota. who for my Falcons, they're getting paid about 8 to 10 million just to be a spot starter or just to be a bridge starter. Can they have that guy? Can they land that guy for this season? And could Kyler Murray take that? You know what I mean? And could his play? Does his play so far these first 3-4 years? Does that warrant him coming back being an automatic starter? I know the thing is you can't lose your job to injury, but I mean he hasn't played that well enough to survive something like that. To me personally, so and that goes on to Hopkins. Hopkins' time is being wasted in the Arizona Cardinals. There's no point in staying there another year. If Kyler, who's your best chance at winning, if he's missing half the year, the defense still isn't good. The offense isn't moving well, and then you have Cliff Kingsbury. You have Kyler struggling, even, if he does play. What's the point in keeping Hopkins there? They should get a reset button, a quick reset button. Hopkins give you about 4 to 5 picks, somewhere in that range, or maybe 3 picks in a nice veteran or a nice young player. He's going to command at least 2 first-round picks. And I have a couple teams in mind. It's not a prediction video for which team he'll go to, but I like the Lions. Just early looking, just looking at teams. I like the Lions. They have multiple first-round picks the next couple years, so they can keep one, save one, for themselves. They have the Rams picks, and just for example, let's just say they give up their pick, so they're gonna pick later in the draft. They keep the Rams pick, which should be a top 10, top 15 type of pick, probably a little, top 7 somewhere in that range. So they can still get better while adding Hopkins, by giving up 2 first-round picks, one this year, one next year, and maybe another later pick, second, third, or whatever. So, and the Cardinals obviously will get those picks, and they'll be able to get that cornerback they desperately need. They're able to get a linebacker or pass rusher or lineman, whatever they need, you feel that they need or the team needs, they can get that. And they can only get that by trading away Hopkins and Kyler Murray. And Murray obviously won't be dealt with torn ACL. It's not going to happen. So the best value guy right now is the Hopkins for a quick reset, a quick jump start to try to revive their careers, because Kingsbury's on a hot seat now. Even with a new contract, just got extended. The same with Kyler Murray. He's on the hot seat. Steve Keim, the GM, is on the hot seat. Some people are calling for Cliff and Murray to stay and let Steve Keim go. So they're all on the hot seat. All 3 guys, to me personally. I think Murray has a longer lease, obviously, being the quarterback. He'll be the last one to go, in my personal opinion. But Keim and Kingsbury need to save their jobs. And the way to do that, quick jump start, trade DeAndre Hopkins, bring in an influx of about 3 or 4 high picks, for probably 2, guaranteed to be 2 first, and a second or a third or something like that, somewhere in that mix of 3 or 4 picks. And with that, they're able to get a little better, try to do some good free agency moves, and try to see where they can go from this point on. So, but the Lions will be a good mix. Him, Amon St. Brown, Goff is playing well. They can add, with their Rams pick, a top 10 guy, like a cornerback, linebacker, whatever you want to go with it. Miles Murphy, Ringo, I think Gonzalez, the kid from Oregon, the other cornerback. So they have a lot of ways to go. They have James Williams, they have Jamal Williams, Swift. So the O-line's pretty solid. So the Lions are a good team right now in the division. It's up for grabs. Especially next year. The Vikings this year got it, definitely. But the Packers aren't the Packers. The Bears still up and coming. They're still trying to get better. And we're not sure about Fields throwing the ball yet. So the Lions and the Vikings, to me, are the top 2 teams. So the Lions could definitely make a move for Hopkins and still keep their core guys, and then still have picks as well to get better here and there. Not as many picks as they would if they don't get Hopkins, but that would be a good move there if they were to get him, and still add pieces to get younger at certain spots and get better. So that's it for video, guys. Just to leave you a quick video there, I do think Hopkins will be traded. If not prior to the season, during draft time, during free agency, at the trade deadline is fine too. That's still before 2024. So, the video will still be accurate if that does happen there. So either way, I'm cool with it, but I would think his max value would be You know, it might not be it might not be max at the summertime because Kyler's not there. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I could see either way now. Like I said, somehow the backup quarterback has them undefeated, and Kyler come in and play well around the trade deadline time. You'll let it pass and try your luck. You know, because Hopkins is on contract till 2025. You know, or until 2024. He's a free agent in 2025. So maybe I could see it going both ways, going prior to the season, him being traded, or mid-season via the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens. But I think if he stays and the team sucks with a backup quarterback like Colt McCoy or something like that, I just think he's gonna go off. He's gonna be pissed off because, like, bro, you're wasting my time here, and team's gonna be calling, banging the phone. And if Keim is there, I think Keim has to answer to try to, keep his job in Kingsbury as well. Need to save their job and try to go ahead and move on from Hopkins just to get an influx of picks so they can try to change up the scheme and do something different than what they're doing now. But this is it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.